Here we are again, folks, at the galaxy's biggest and most brutal battleground, the Grand Nexus Combat Arena. This is where hopes are crushed, and legends are made from the cries of the defeated. I'm your host Vexstar, and after 300 years of calling fights, I've never seen anything quite like what's coming up next. The arena floor shines under red spotlights, still messy from yesterday's match. The air is thick with the smell of fear and sweat. It's oddly energizing. Let's talk about the reigning champ Korath the Destroyer. 700 kills. Yes, you heard that right. 700. For 5 straight years, he's turned his opponents into decorations on these walls. He's 12 feet tall, with claws sharp enough to cut through spaceship armor and jaws strong enough to crush metal like plastic. Bookmakers don't even take bets against him anymore. They just laugh. Korath's last opponent, a powerful warlord who had conquered 17 star systems, lasted only 43 seconds. The cleanup crew is still finding pieces, but today is different. Everyone's curious, confused, even a little nervous. Because Korath is facing a human. Yes, a human from Earth, that small, overlooked planet. I've seen plenty of strange matchups over the years, like a warrior monk fighting a Nork berserker, or a battle drone sent against a psychic space whale, but this tops them all. The human just walked into the prep room, and most of the staff thought it was someone's pet. He's barely 6 feet tall, weighs maybe 200 pounds, has no claws, no armor, no poison, just soft skin and a grin that says he's either really brave or completely out of his mind. The crowd's already laughing. Some are betting how many seconds he'll survive. The best guess so far is 15 seconds, and even that's generous. But here's the twist. Earth is classified as a Class CI Deathworld. That's in the same league as lava planets and neutron star surfaces. So it begs the question, what kind of world creates something that looks weak but might be incredibly dangerous? This morning, the medical team studied human biology and found some surprises. Humans have backup organs, can survive major blood loss, and their pain tolerance is, well, let's just say it's impressive. So buckle up, everyone. This might be the quickest fight ever, or it might turn into something unforgettable. Now, let's bring in our expert guests. Dr. Zelani, our top xenobiologist, and Throk, head of the betting desk. Both have been keeping a close eye on this mystery challenger. The medical team spent the whole morning examining the human contestant, and honestly, they look shaken up, like they saw a ghost. So Zelani, I say, leaning back in my chair, what's the deal with this Jake Morrison guy? What's your expert opinion? Zelani's 4 eyes blink one after another, a clear sign she's confused. Well, Vexstar, she begins. I've been going over the biological data for hours, and honestly, I have no idea how this creature is still alive. It's like he's powered by pure stubbornness and denial. The crowd bursts into laughter as Jake's stats appear on the main screen. Height, 6'2", weight, 210 lbs, natural armor, none venom, none psychic powers, 0 healing ability. Minimal. Look at this, Zelani says, pointing at the holographic display. No exoskeleton, no scales, no armor plates, nothing. His bones are on the inside, just surrounded by soft tissue and skin. It's like he walked in ready to be dissected. Throk, the betting manager, can barely hold back his laughter. The odds are absolutely wild. Right now, it's 37,000 to 1 against the human. I had to bring in extra staff just to handle the bets. People are throwing money at this like it's a galactic fundraiser. But here's where things get weird, Zelani adds, her tone more serious now. This human's home planet, Earth, is rated a Class CI Deathworld by the Galactic Survey. That's the same level as volcanic wastelands and radiation zones.
Wait, really?
I say, surprised. I wish I were joking, she replies. Their gravity is almost double what most species are used to. Their atmosphere is full of oxygen, a corrosive gas. Their planet is covered in massive oceans, and they actually swim in them for fun. And their sun blasts them with radiation every day. They call it sunbathing. The audience goes silent for a moment, taking it all in, and the wildlife. She continues. They live alongside predators that hunt in teams, crush bones and inject venom. And yet somehow, humans are the top of the food chain. She pauses, then adds something that makes even Throk stop smiling. Their mental profile is just as strange. Humans actively seek danger. They jump out of flying vehicles with just fabric to slow them down. They ride rocket-powered machines at lethal speeds for fun. They fight each other in hand-to-hand combat just to entertain themselves. It's like their entire species is addicted to risk. Throk is grinning again. The medics wanted to do a full exam before the match, she says, but Morrison just shrugged and said, I'm good. No rituals, no training, no chants or blood sacrifices. He just asked where the vending machine was. The massive chamber hums as the gates slide open with a sharp metallic hiss. From the champion's entrance comes Korath the Destroyer, and wow, he's a monster. 12 feet of raw muscle and killing intent, his black armored skin gleaming under the lights. He even had a light snack before the match, a beast he ripped apart just for fun. At the same time, the cameras cut to Jake Morrison. He's in the prep area, stretching like he's about to go for a morning jog. Not a hint of fear, no tension. He's even humming a tune, like he's waiting for a bus. Ladies and gentlemen, I say into the mic, please welcome the most relaxed piece of prey in galactic history. Then the arena horn blares, shaking the air. Korath steps forward, each heavy stomp rattling the ground. His claws drag across the metal floor, screeching like a scream from the underworld. The crowd goes absolutely wild, roaring with excitement. Korath raises his arms and lets out a battle cry so powerful it probably knocked the front few rows sterile. And then ... Jake walks out. Just walks. No dramatic entrance, no charge, no weapons raised. Hands in his pockets, still humming. He strolls in like he's late for a coffee meeting. The cheering shifts to murmurs, then laughter. Even I have trouble keeping it together. I've seen confidence, I say, trying to sound calm. But this might be either genius or total insanity. Korath tilts his head, clearly confused. In 700 fights, he's seen all kinds, screaming maniacs, dancing warriors, even a few who begged for mercy. But this boredom, this calm, it's messing with him. Jake stops about 20 feet away. He takes his hands out of his pockets and waves. Waves like he's saying hi to an old buddy. Did he just wave, I ask? Stunned. He did. Zalani whispers, wide-eyed. That's enough for Korath. He launches himself like a missile. Claws aimed for a clean, instant kill. But Jake just steps aside. No flips, no rolls, no fancy moves. Just one small step, like he's avoiding a puddle. Korath flies past him, claws slicing empty air. He actually stumbles, confused. In 700 matches, not once has anyone dodged his first strike. Not one. Interesting footwork, I manage to say, though my voice cracks. Jake turns calmly, scratches his head like he's solving a math problem, and then he grins. Not a wild, bloodthirsty grin. Just a chill, confident smile. The kind that makes you realize he might know exactly what he's doing. Jake gives a grin, not a cocky smirk or wild snarl. Just a casual, friendly grin, like someone told him a mildly funny joke. Korath charges again, this time leading with an uppercut strong enough to punch through a tank. Jake casually leans back, the claws missing his face by inches, and then he does something absolutely crazy. He flicks Korath on the nose, like you would scold a misbehaving pet. Did that human just... Zalani starts. Yes, I interrupt, my ability to give proper commentary completely gone. The crowd stops laughing. A strange tension settles over the arena. 10,000 spectators, from 10,000 species, all suddenly realize something's not right. This human is not what he seems. Korath looks offended, deeply offended. In all his years, no one has ever dared treat him like some annoying bug. But Jake, he's completely calm, now moving in ways no combat style in the galaxy teaches. He doesn't fight like a soldier or a trained warrior. He moves like someone who's spent his whole life dodging danger for fun. Korath swipes with his right claw. Jake ducks under it and somehow appears behind his left shoulder. Korath spins fast, but Jake is already gone, appearing at another angle entirely. Zalani stares at him, baffled. There's no pattern, she says, no formal technique, no military strategy, not even instinctive species combat. He's just ... making it up as he goes. Wait, Throck says, stunned. You mean ... he's not even trying. And then it happens. Jake Morrison does something that will be replayed in arena highlights for centuries. Korath lunges, claws out in his infamous killing move. Jake drops to one knee, grabs a handful of sand from the arena floor, and throws it in Korath's eyes. The entire crowd gasps. Doll A&I drops her datapad. Throck's jaw literally I stammer. He just threw dirt at a 700-kill champion and it worked. Korath stumbles back, roaring, clawing at his eyes, blinded and furious. Jake stands up, calmly brushes the dust off his hands like he just did some gardening and then waits. Just waits, as if there's no rush at all. And then, it gets worse. Or better, depending on who you ask. Korath's vision returns. Enraged, he abandons all subtlety and enters full berserker mode. For the next 10 minutes, he unleashes everything in his arsenal, the moves that made him a legend. Claws that tear through armored plating, tail strikes that have decapitated squads. A bite force strong enough to crush reinforced helmets like they were plastic cups. And Jake just keeps moving, no flips, no fancy tricks. Just efficient dodging like he's done this 1,000 times before. Duck, sidestep, lean, roll over and over. It almost looks boring, until you remember that every one of those attacks has killed someone before, and none of them are touching him. 15 minutes, Throck says quietly, his voice hollow. The human has been in there for 15 minutes. Zalani pauses, double-checking her readings. That's longer than Korath's last 20 opponents combined, she says. But here's where things get truly strange. You can hear it now. Korath is breathing heavily. The sound echoes through the arena speakers, deep, rough, strained. The monster who ruled this arena for 5 straight years is showing signs of fatigue. His strikes are getting slower, less accurate. He's getting tired. Jake, meanwhile, looks like he's on a morning jog. Still alert, still light on his feet. No sign of stress. How is this happening? I whisper, more to myself than anyone else. Korath's species is built for endurance. They can fight for hours. He shouldn't be slowing down this early. And then finally Korath lands a hit. His massive claws rip through Jake's left arm, slicing skin and muscle with a horrible sound that makes half the crowd flinch in horror. Blood sprays across the floor. The audience gasps. This has to be it. This is where the human finally breaks. But Jake just looks down at his arm, 3 deep gashes bleeding freely, and says something into the mic. It's so quiet the system barely picks it up. That stings a bit. Solani's medical scanner lights up like a warning beacon. His pain response is, "It's not normal," she mutters. This wound should have taken him out, or at least slowed him down. But Jake tears off part of his shirt, wraps it around his arm like it's no big deal, and goes right back to dodging.com. Smooth. UMBOTHERED. As if being clawed by a galactic death machine was no worse than stubbing a toe or spilling coffee. This doesn't make sense, Throck whispers. Korath's claws can rip through starship hulls. That humans should be on the floor screaming, not shrugging it off like a paper cut. But then Jake does something that breaks the arena's collective brain. He starts talking to Korath in the middle of the fight. "You're pretty good at this," Jake says, casually ducking under another deadly swing. "How long have you been doing the whole pro-fighting thing?" Korath, not used to friendly banter during Mortal Kombat, answers the only way he knows, by launching into a brutal combo attack that would have turned most fighters into ashes. Jake, he just slips around it smooth as ever and keeps talking. Silent type. "Huh, I get it. Gotta stay focused. Very professional. I respect that. We're 25 minutes into this match now, and something unthinkable is happening. Korath the Destroyer, the apex predator, the living nightmare of the arena, is slowing down. His attacks are losing precision. His breathing is ragged. Sweat is dripping from his thick armor, and Jake, he looks like he's just warming up. This is impossible," Solani says to the stunned crowd. "Human endurance wasn't supposed to work like this. Their bodies weren't supposed to last this long. Human hearts, lungs, their entire cardiovascular system shouldn't be able to handle this kind of intensity." But then, I remember something from the briefing. Something strange. Something about humans and their weird relationship with exhaustion. On their Deathworld, they didn't always hunt by being stronger or faster. No, they just kept going. They would chase animals for hours, sometimes days, until the prey dropped dead from exhaustion. It wasn't speed, it was pure, stubborn endurance. They called it persistence hunting, and right now, watching Korath struggle to stay on his feet while Jake still looks relaxed, like he could go for another hour, I finally understand what kind of nightmare Earth really is. 30 minutes, Throck whispers, his voice barely audible. The arena has gone completely silent. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is something else, something deeper, something that makes every Redditor species in the audience suddenly feel. Nervous, Korath stumbles after a missed strike. For the first time in his entire career, he's the one gasping for air, while his opponent stands steady. His eyes, once burning with bloodlust, now show something terrifying. Doubt. Jake sees it immediately, of course he does, and something shifts in his expression. He's still smiling, but it's not casual anymore. The warm-up is over. "You know what, big guy," Jake says, his voice clear across the arena. "I think it's my turn now." And that's when everything changes. What happens next will be studied in military academies for centuries. Jake Morrison, the unarmed human from Earth, stops dodging. He doesn't rush, he doesn't leap, he simply walks forward, calm, controlled, like a predator who knows the chase is over. Korath, desperate, throws everything he has left into one final attack. His claws slice through the air in a deadly combo that has ended 700 fights before this one. Jake steps in and catches Korath's wrist. With his bare hand, just catches it like it's nothing. Like Korath's massive, armored arm isn't even heavy. The arena goes silent, a kind of silence so deep you could hear a pin drop in space. "Thanks for the workout," Jake says casually, and then he shows the galaxy exactly why humans are apex predators. No claws, no venom, no armor. Just leverage, timing, and something Solani will later describe in her report as applied physics with malicious intent, in one smooth, practiced move. Jake uses Korath's own momentum to flip the 12-foot warbeast over his shoulder and slams him into the ground. The sound is like a spaceship crashing into an asteroid. The floor shakes. The impact leaves a crater 3 feet deep. Korath tries to rise, dazed, his face full of confusion. Jake gently places a hand on his chest and presses him back down. "Stay," he says, calm, firm, like talking to a misbehaving dog. "That's it. Fight over .700 kills. 5 years of total dominance. The most feared warrior in galactic history has just been beaten by a man who looks more like a desk worker than a deadly fighter. For 7 full seconds, no one says a word. Then every communication device in the arena explodes with alerts, calls from news outlets, military officers, scientists, and probably half the Galactic Council, all demanding to know the same thing. What just happened? I finally managed to speak into my mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what we just witnessed." Throck stares at his betting screen like it just stabbed him in the back. The odds were 37,000 to 1. The payouts from this upset are going to bankrupt 3 entire star systems. Solani has already pulled up every report she can find on human biology, reading like someone whose view of the universe just fell apart. Their planet, she mutters. Earth. It's a Class CI death world, but the data we have, it's incomplete. It mentions things like persistence, hunting, and endurance, but the numbers looked like mistakes, like typos. She glances back at the arena, where Jake, yes, the same Jake who just slammed a 12-foot alien champion into the floor, is now helping. Karoth to his feet with genuine concern on his face. Her voice drops to a whisper. What if those numbers weren't errors? What if humans really can just outlast anything? What if their whole survival strategy is simply refusing to die? And slowly, across the galaxy, people are beginning to understand the consequences. Military leaders everywhere are suddenly rewriting their war plans. Predator species are wondering if they've been looking at the food chain all wrong. News feeds are in chaos. Human defeats arena champion. Deathworld species stuns galaxy. Friendly alien discovers humans are absolutely terrifying. Meanwhile, Jake, completely unaware of the galactic crisis he's caused, is casually chatting with the medics. He's pointing to the 3 claw marks on his arm and asking if they have proper bandages. His shirt wrap is getting loose. One of the medics, still in disbelief, mutters, "The bleeding's already stopped." His healing isn't faster, just weirdly efficient, and the pain, he definitely feels it. He just doesn't care. Throck, finally accepting that his betting career is over, looks at Jake still waving and smiling at the crowd, and says something that might become the official motto for dealing with humans. You know what's really scary? He's not even trying to be scary. This is just how they are. And then, the arenas comes crackle to life again. Reports are pouring in. Diplomats are being pulled back. Trade deals are being rewritten. Minor wars are on pause. Everyone is rethinking where humans really stand in the galaxy. And Jake Morrison, the polite, cheerful guy who just rewrote the laws of combat, has only one question left. Hey, anyone know where I can get a decent sandwich? Because apparently, smashing galactic legends works up an appetite. You've had a long day. 3 hours later, and the galaxy as we know it has fundamentally changed. Jake Morrison, the man, the myth, the walking survival glitch, is sitting in the Victor's Lounge, eating what appears to be a sandwich made of 7 alien delicacies. He's laughing, chatting with reporters like he just won a casual bowling night, not single-handedly disrupted centuries of interstellar power dynamics. Meanwhile, the arena's management, in a display of bureaucratic brilliance, or maybe panic, has officially retired Korath's championship title. In its place, they've created a whole new combat category, the Deathworld division. Apparently, they decided putting humans in standard matches was like tossing antimatter bombs into a pillow fight. It's only fair, the arena director said at the press conference, voice trembling like a man who just looked into the abyss. You can't expect our traditional champions to fight a species evolution seems to have designed as some kind of jokey and the rest of us. The betting systems have been overhauled. The Galactic Banking Consortium issued a formal apology and introduced brand new risk assessment protocols. Throck, he's been promoted to head of Impossible Outcomes Management. Yes, that's a real job now. Meanwhile, galactic diplomacy has entered a full-blown frenzy. The Vraxian Empire, who had apparently been eyeing Earth as a potential conquest target, just sent over a fruit basket and a peace treaty. The Nexus Trade Federation upgraded Earth's classification from minor agricultural planet to approach with extreme caution and maybe bring flowers. Universities across the stars are now offering brand new degree programs in human studies, though early Salabi suggests it'll be 90% wild guesses and 10% panicked evacuation drills. Solani, still reeling, has submitted a research paper titled, "Why Evolution Apparently Hates Everyone Except Humans." Her early findings: humans voluntarily consume toxic ethanol for fun. They relax by watching controlled explosions, and their response to mortal injury is to wrap it in a t-shirt and keep talking. Jake Morrison, meanwhile, has a 12-system victory tour scheduled. Though, let's be honest, it's less celebration, more galactic surveillance. The Council wants to know exactly what kind of creature they've just let loose on the universe. His first stop, a diplomatic dinner with the Andromedai Command, who've respectfully requested he not bring any Earth food, Earth drinks, or anything Earth really. The arena reopens next week, but not without serious changes. New safety protocols, enhanced medical units, and what they're calling species-appropriate matchmaking. So, to all of you scientists, soldiers, politicians, and the so-called top predators of the galaxy, welcome to the age of humanity. And may, whatever gods you believe in, have mercy on us all.